Welcome to Tidbit Talkin. Have some ideas about a fictional thing, each one featuring different levels of seriousness. Spoilers, here we go. This whole paper universe could very well have been created by 7-star RPG Bowser making a last-minute wish for a world where he fared better as the main bad guy than the Smithy game. Also, subconscious gratitude contained within his former ally Gino may have caused this to automatically and unknowingly occur. Secretly, he also deeply yearned for places like Monstro Town to exist by default without any keep capturing chaos taking place, so fangy folks who didn't like fighting wouldn't have to feel guilty for ditching his army. Dude must have also used the Star Rod to make his castle invincible for a bit, hence it being able to tunnel through the planet unscathed and get below Peaches quite easily for a good old-fashioned building snatch. The Star Spirit sending strength to Mario may not have been done just to help him, but also for the sake of draining some wishing power from the wielder of that stolen Sunny Staff. Goombario opted for blue hat wearing as a tribute to Mario's early adventuring outfit. The Toad Houses are providing services everywhere instead of inns run by local species because they are castle officials stationed around places to make sure no evil turtle-affiliated spies settle among the peaceful troop creatures. The Trap item-giving sign was put up by the Goomba King and not the Merry Mushrooms. That lucky star must be meant for mass production in the future, so Princess's Toad Army can actually be competent enough to prevent future crises whenever amazingly competent jumping gentlemen aren't readily available. Luigi stays behind during the journeys where Mario is unsure whether or not he can win, so innocent people everywhere have a backup guardian. Honey syrup may in fact be extracted from the same plants that bear Koopa leaves. That guy was actually able to make the Fuzzies not feel like taking his shell by making them dizzy via after-image generation. Colorado's wife isn't even sure if her husband is truly famous because the likes of Ultimate Leapy siblings kinda make any level of notoriety other than World Saver kinda lame in comparison. The one who took Cooper's skeleton fragment gave up so quickly because he got nauseous. Must have something to do with magical experimentation meant for letting them inflict such pain upon others in self-defense, going quite wrong. Yellow rigged that floor by altering it to be the exact sensitivity that only one of a certain plumber's patented jump landings will collapse it. Bob-ombs which survive exploding must merely ignite the air around them and get self-propelled like some sort of intelligent cannonball. The Koopa Bros may have heard about all the bridge guarding fakes that tricked Mario in the first SMB game and thought that he was just easily fooled, not that those magical clones were actually a perfect illusion or anything. Perhaps Tink can't smell his friend's favorite flowers because the aforementioned things attempting to take light energy from him via photosynthesis breaks his mystical mind just a tad. Bowser is incredibly proud of his diary writing skills because it's actually very hard for a giant monster with huge hands to hold a pen. It's not that this radio can only get 3 stations, it's just those are Mr. Jolly Overall's favorite ones. Future Ghost Hunters Rock Kleiner arrived when several of the escaping Blast Buddies blew up in excitement while fleeing that fortress. It regenerates because gathering other large stones is part of his regular hero training routine. He has trouble finding those dropped letters because his wing flapping blows them away. This guy considers that badge nice, but didn't take it for himself because it's too freaking hot for most individuals to wear giant pieces of metal close to their hearts around these parts. An aspect of that giving spree was just making sure you'd have room to buy from the shop and get granted a Mustafa audience. Plus, it encourages nice tourists to stimulate their economy. He asked about pants specifically because that's the easiest thing for a worm like him to notice quickly. The guard monsters didn't hide this key very far away because they're mummified armless things who really can't carry crap. The super hammer was likely used to first build Dry Outpost and these ruins. Tootin' Koopa is already located somewhere most bad guys don't know about because Bowser wished for him to be near the captured Star Spirit. He also probably wished for said Star Spirit to be somewhere most people don't know about. Merlovely seems to be using the Triforce of Wisdom from that TV show to provide her with visions. The forest trickery is because all these plants came from ghost seeds. Lady Bo set up a bunch of partner-requiring obstacles to test and see how cool of a hang Mario is. That is the specific part of his reputation she was inquiring about. Her chambers have double doors so the other boos don't get stuck from rushing in all at once whenever she calls a meeting. Multiple no-entry signs are spread about because dude kept getting paranoid about someone finding his heart and thus felt like he always needed to be digging deeper to reach that "no one will ever come here" point. He probably only stopped once his digging tools broke. Tubba Blubba's body wasn't even really attempting to digest those spirits. His vital organ-lacking vessel was simply getting powered by magical energy rubbing off onto him kinda hoopla. Reminiscing about old adventures triggered Luigi's memories about where Bro and him keep the Wrecking Crew gear, which in turn inspired him to remodel their house. These Shy Guys are trying to make Crimson Stash champion annoyed by the concept of doing side quests so he doesn't get too strong before facing them and their boss's other trusted commanders. Whatever's within people's clothes doesn't grow inside that toy box because it's pretty close to internal organs and thus would be protected by necessary secondary sorcery junk that prevents truly horrifying outcome malarkey. The fleeing fellows screaming made that wall brittle enough for them to crumble it by mere pushing. 0% off is a good deal because he plans to add extra cost to folks who buy from him who aren't saving the world, particularly those who may be serving a certain spiky-shelled giant. Amphibious Archaeologist's team must regularly all quit because of how often he gets attacked by fierce enemies and falls into traps. Speaking of which, this jungle is especially dangerous because of all the things that are pretending to be other whatnots. Sushi has never heard of Mario because people don't typically have gossip sessions underwater. That Yoshi kid felt like a treetop was the best location to nap because such places are the only not disguised objects around these parts he knows of. Wad doesn't illuminate an area until Uncle Plumber holds her because she needs to make sure he's safely behind the brightness so his eyes don't get burned. Miss Star didn't pick them up until the very end because she needs monumental rest following the rescue like all those other star spirits. The flower guards all want to be bribed with food rather than coins because they can't really move around and thus could never purchase anything with money no matter how much they had. That Ultra Hammer block was spare materials left over from what he ordered for their recent home remodel. A bubble berry is the only thing that thickens its saliva enough to make a big water sphere. Reckless butt stuff is particularly nightmarish for a Lakitu because as their posteriors become too damaged, they can no longer sit on a cloud. That one plant's a total jerk because sharing soil with Big Tree King roots leaves him with an intense lack of pleasantness-enabling nutrients. These fellas undid the game show set into the exact scared material state it was in before because they think Mario will eventually emerge victorious in battle like he always does, and thus fear the anger of the restored Mushroom Army finding out one of their carpentry projects got screwed with. Her husband and kid must live underwater near Lava Lava Island. Koopa Koot likes red jars and has a same-colored roof because he admires the powers of his crimson-reared brothers who can't absent-mindedly walk off cliffs. Herringway's Detective Novelist Cave is so well hidden compared to the Bat one because nobody would accidentally yell, "Engage stairs!" while they occasionally might inadvertently play certain piano keys or set a clock to a random time while drunk at their rich friend's party. That door is regularly locked so adequate heat can be retained outside of the direct pipe to Shiver City. Those gifts must have been left by the Star Kids who want to apologize for an attempted assault on Sir Gravity-defying hero. There are multiple clown cars readily available in this floating garage because Bowser tends to break them while throwing hissy fits. The partners are so well suited for navigating Commander Cranky Corruption's castle because it has to be easily traversed by his similarly bodied employees. There's a switch to deactivate hot flows in these locales for times the floor needs replacing and such. That door felt like keeping its word was a good idea because it remembered how good Mario is at smashing bricks. This warehouse and others like it is where the Koopa Troops get all those items they sometimes drop. One of the desires granted with that rod has been the possibility to make such a device. The wishes weren't empowering them before because the confidence of Bowser's army was making their petty counter yearning strong enough to cancel hope out. Those barriers formed quite easily because the captured Toad spent that whole time desperately praying to not experience any fall-related fatalities. The reality-shaping doodad must tremendously lessen the energy usage of the mystical beings allowing people to get what they want. Hence why it's seen as vital even though they can make stuff happen without it. Bootler's invitation must have been delivered to Gusty Gulch at first because Parakarry kept getting lost in that woods kind of place. The Toad houses must close every time evil armies are defeated in order to restock on cheese and the like while less folks are partaking in fleeing from danger-related shenanigans and can thus safely make it back home without worry. The Koopa Bros gotta be placed near parade front what have you because they were found injured after Junior Troopa suddenly barged through and the Royal Military felt sorry for them. The rest of the baddies are there for mandatory community service. Well, so are they, but that first thing was why nobody else got premier stuff privileges. Endings are a pain, but all of you are fantastic. See ya.